Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Webinar Tuesday. My name is Mary Jo Williams. I'm the Network Training Coordinator for the Virgin Islands Small Business Development Center, and I will be your facilitator moderator for today's session. Today's session is USVI HUBZone status, and we have with us today from the SBA, we have Lisa Shamli-Acqui, Wayne Huddleston, and Eduardo Velez. And Wayne is the Senior Area Manager for the SBA in the Virgin Islands. And as the Senior Area Manager, I will allow him to introduce his colleagues, Lisa and Eduardo. Wayne, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you, Mary Jo. Welcome, everyone. And again, thank you to the Small Business Development Center for continuing to host these weekly SBA webinars. As Mary Jo mentioned, this week, our topic is going to be HUBZone certification here in the Virgin Islands. We have a good presenter with us, Eduardo Velez Torres. He's from our San Juan office, and he is a business opportunity specialist, and he is has in-depth knowledge on all things related to government contracting. So we're going to have him lead our presentation today. And as always, we're going to leave plenty of time at the end of this presentation to answer any questions you have regarding, of course, the topic, which is HUBZone certification. But if you have any other questions regarding federal contracting certifications in general, or any of SBA programs, this is the forum to do it in this week. But without further ado, I'd like to just turn it on over to Eduardo to begin our presentation on HUBZone certification.
Thank you, Wayne. Thank you, Major, as always, for the invite. It's always a pleasure to be here with you guys. Let me share my screen real quick. Are we good? Can you see it okay?
Yes.
Good.
Excellent. So, good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here with us today. This is a short, sweet, to the point presentation. This is basically, we try to do an overview of the program, how it works in the USVI. You're going to see me talking about Puerto Rico and USVI because the SBA district office that we have in San Juan, Puerto Rico serves Puerto Rico and the US Virgin Islands. So we're going to try to see how the HUBZone program may be of assistance, maybe something that you can see, that you can look into if you're getting into contracting, if you're looking into the opportunity of doing contracting with the federal government. This is a really good way to start. Okay, so I think I'm not going to go over my presentation again. You guys heard it already, so let's get right into it. So the United States federal government is the world's largest buyer of goods and services. So it averages a total of $500 billion per year. And a lot of people sometimes think, that the US government is only buying, airplanes, tanks, things of that nature. But the government buys absolutely everything from paper clips to a submarine. Okay, so if you sell office supplies, if you sell food, if you sell legal services, construction services, you may be able to land a contract with the federal government, with the US federal government. So the way this works is that the United States federal government agencies, they are required to present establish and maintain contracting goals that are going to be designated to small businesses. So at least 23% of all the things that an agency is going to buy have to be designated to small businesses. This is the way that they have the government's way of ensuring that small businesses get a fair share of contracting opportunities. Okay, so you got to remember there's two things SBA can do for you if you have and own a small business. We have lending programs that can assist you if you may need assistance to capital, assistance to money, right? If you need a loan. But we also have the other side of the agency. We have contracting opportunities, and we have programs designed to help small businesses, participate and obtain contracts with the federal government. So you can look at it as an incentive, right? If you have a small business. So this 23% number, this is going to be compromised of the programs of the certifications that you see here on screen. So the small disadvantaged business, they have 5% assigned. Here you have your 8A business development program. You're going to have your service disabled veteran owned business, 3%, your woman owned small businesses, 5%. You can also see that we have HUBZone, our historically underutilized business zone, 3%. So what this means is that agencies have to assign at least 3%. It can be more, but they have to assign at least 3% of all their purchases to HUBZone designated firms. So what is HUBZone? What does it mean if you get certified and registered as a HUBZone firm? What does it mean? So HUBZone stands for historically underutilized business zone. So this program was created in order to get firms, businesses in certain designated communities gain access to federal contract opportunities. Typically, historically, these have been areas that have a low medium household income and or high unemployment percentage. So the program purpose, this program was created to aid small businesses in pursuing and obtaining contracts. By doing this, we can increase employment opportunities, we can stimulate capital investment, and we can empower communities through economic leveraging, okay? So how does the program work? So first of all, we got to determine if a firm is eligible. If you're eligible, we're going to see it a little bit further ahead. You have to be a small business. You have to be 51% owned and controlled by the owner who is requesting the HUBZone certification. Has to be that firm has to be 51% owned and controlled by that individual. Your principal office has to be located in a HUBZone area. We're going to see a little bit ahead that SBA has a tool, tracker tool in the SBA webpage. It's very similar to a Google Maps tool. So you can go in there, you can input your principal office location, your address, and it'll pop up and show you if you qualify, okay? So SBA gets someone, if you think you're, eligible, if you think you're ready to apply for the certification, you do the process, you submit your documentation, and you're either applied or denied. If you submit everything, if everything's in order, and you meet all the requirements and you have all your documentation ready to go, you're going to be approved. You're not going to have a problem with that. So once you're certified, once you're approved as an eligible HUBZone firm, because we're going to see it ahead, we're going to have to create a SAN.gov profile. So once you get certified, you are gonna appear, your firm, it's gonna have a profile that's gonna appear on the DSBS, that stands for Dynamic Search, Dynamic Small Business Search. So there you're gonna have your company information, absolutely everything, your NICS codes, your entry date to the program, address, telephone, references. You're gonna have all. It's like a profile. It's like a small resume. So a contracting officer can literally go into that program and search for businesses. Okay, we're gonna see it ahead. So once you're in the system, once you're in that database, you're good to go. All right. So because you're going to be in that pool and you're going to be able to participate in contracts, even if you're not pursuing them, because we have sole source opportunities. Okay. So there are 6 different HUBZone designations. And if an address within any of these locations, it appears as green, it's going to be an eligible HUBZone area. So we have the most basic one that we see, the qualified census. It's updated. Addresses are updated every time a census is performed. So we're waiting on the finalization of the census tract data report to come to see if Puerto Rico goes up and if the USVI 100% status comes down or stays the same. Here you can see other qualifications, Indian lands, base closures, disaster areas, etc. This is the HUBZone map tracker tool that I was telling you guys about. So if you go into the SBA web page, that on the top left part of the screen, that search bar that you have right there, you can put your principal office address, and it'll show up if your business is qualified for HUBZone. So if you take a second and look into the Puerto Rico below where it says San Juan is the capital of Puerto Rico, you can see a lot of light gray areas. Those are areas that are not HUBZone. Those are you can say metropolitan areas. So if your principal place of business is located somewhere around that light gray area, within that light gray area, you're not going to be qualified HUBZone. Okay. You have the link right there. If you want to visit after the presentation is over, if you want to visit the tool to see if you're qualified, you can go right ahead and do that. So how do I know if I qualify for HUBZone, for the HUBZone program? You have to be a small business by SBA standards. So when you go into the North American Industry Classification System table, that's what we call the industry codes. You can go there and check whether you sell a supply or a service. You're gonna go there and you're gonna identify it, and it's gonna be one of 2 things. If you don't, depending on the industry that you work on, if you do not exceed a certain amount of income when adding the receipts for 3 years, for the receipts of your company, or a maximum number of employees that your company may have. So let's say that you do general construction. Your NICS codes, your NICS code is going to be 236220, and that code allows for a maximum 3 years annual receipt amount of $39.5 million. So as long as you don't exceed that amount of that amount of money, you're a small business as per SBA standards. So do that exercise, determine your maximum amount of annual receipts, determine the maximum amount of employees that you're allowed to have, and if you are good to go, then you can keep moving forward. Your business has to be it has to be owned and controlled by at least 51%. You have to be a U.S. citizen or a community development corporation, an agricultural cooperative, or an Indian tribe. Your principal office must be located within a designated hub zone. This is where the hub zone tracker tool we just saw comes into place. At least 35% of your employees must reside in a hub zone area. It doesn't have to be the same area as where your principal place of business is located. You may have your principal place of business, let's say in Puerto Rico, in a hub zone area, and you can have employees from the USVI as long as they live in a hub zone area. You're good to go. Okay. You're gonna have to submit evidence of residency for your employees to comply with this requirement. Okay. So you're gonna go into the SBA.gov webpage. You're gonna go into the hub zone tab. And you're gonna go into the qualifications and requirements section. You're gonna open up a page that is gonna list absolutely all of the documents that you need to submit, all of the requirements that you need to comply. And if you can check all of them, that's it. You're good to go. Go ahead and submit that documentation and get certified for HubZone. You have to remember that firms are this just changed the yearly recertification tool. They just changed this I think for 3 years now. So but you got to remember, this is not a one-time certification process. You're going to submit your initial documentation, and then you're gonna have to submit recertification documentation at some point. Okay, so it's important that you know that you're gonna have to resubmit documentation in order to keep your status in the HubZone program. Okay. As with a lot of certifications that go that we work on SBA, they can be tedious. You have to submit a lot of documentation. You have to read a lot. There's a lot of things that need to be, good to go. So it's important that you sit down, get organized, that that you 100% have everything in place before you submit your application. There's a lot of instances in which if the application is almost I want to say I don't like to say almost, because we want to send them out 100% complete and ready to go. But if there is something minor missing, there's a really high probability that we're going to get contacted by the analyst of the HubZone program that's checking the presentation, the application, and they'll get in touch with us and say, hey, this person I just need, a couple days ago, I needed a firm to update. They were having trouble with in the SAM.gov webpage. They were not able to finish the supplemental pages. This is the section in which you input your small business information. That's the information that's going to go up and auto-populate in the dynamic small business search tool. So they weren't able to do that. So I got contacted by an analyst, the analyst that was verifying the application. They told me the problem. I got in touch with the firm, and they were able to resolve this issue, I think like in 2 days. And literally the day after that, she received an email that the application was approved. So keep that in mind, that if your application is good to go, if everything is in order, the analyst 100% is looking for ways to increase, the amount of HubZone firms that are approved into the program. Okay, so every individual, every firm that wants to do business with the United States federal government has to be certified in SAM.gov. This is basically where you create your profile. You're going to put all the information regarding your firm here. Okay, and every time you want to participate and bid in an opportunity, your information has to be has to be here in order for you to complete that process. Okay, This is what we call the SAM.gov account. This is the system for award management. So it's basic, plug and play information. Okay, so we talked about this. If at any point you need, if you have problems with the table, if it's not opening the document, you just shoot me an email and I will send it to you, the latest one that we have. This is where you're going to go to identify. Remember what we were talking about? You're going to identify your industry code, whether it's a supplier or service. You're going to go into that page. You're going to identify what you do, what it is that you sell. Remember, you can have a primary code and you can have, infinite amount of secondary codes. I have firms in the HUBZone program or 8A program that have a primary code, let's say on general construction, but they also do landscaping, plumbing, carpentry, all of that, right? Kind of related services. So here, let's say you have a specific service and you don't know, again, if you have question, if you have doubts kind of identifying what it is that you do, feel free to shoot me an email. I will assist you in identifying the correct code. If you have specific a specific service or supplies that you sell, you can put your NICs here. And let's say when you put 236220, or you can put a keyword, it'll show up the code, and it'll show up the description of the service for what you want to sell. This is what we were talking about earlier, about the annual receipts for 3 years, and or your total amount of employees that you cannot exceed. Okay, so this is a tool that you can put, again, if you, let's say that you do general construction. So in that part right there, once you go into this link, in that part where it says NICS, you're going to put 236220, and it'll show you, it'll show up 39.5 million. And you know that's going to be your number. If you do something else, let's say plumbing, and your code is 541321, it'll show up, it may say 200 employees. So if you have 199 employees and you do that code, you're good to go. Okay. Remember, if at some point you try to click or download a document and it shows up like the link is broken or whatever, feel free to shoot me an email, and I will send you that information, the latest information that we have ASAP. So remember what we were talking about when a contracting officer may go into the DSBS webpage to search for small business. This is the what they're gonna be seeing when they search for a firm. Okay, so once you get certified, they're going to see that HUBZone certification tab marked with a yes, and they're going to have the HUBZone certification date. That's the initial certification date that you when you got first certified. Okay, so this information has to be current. This information has to be updated. Okay, we at SBA cannot send out like a offer, like a letter for you to send to a contracting officer saying that, yes, he's submitted an application, it got approved. It has to show up ready to go in the DSBS. As soon as the application is approved by SBA will do this exercise for you. This is not something that you have to do. Okay. So the agencies that are looking for firms that are certified as HUBZone, they can give out contracts as set-asides. These set-asides can be competitive. They can be sole source awards. When we're talking about sole source awards, they are awards that a contracting officer may identify a firm and that he knows it's able to perform and satisfy the required job, and they can enter into direct negotiations with that firm without having to compete that contract. There are some exceptions money wise. If it doesn't go above a specific threshold amount, then you can keep your contracts at a sole source. Okay, it's near the $4 million for or below, where you can go do the sole source award. So when we talk about the price evaluation preference, the HUBZone Act states that the price offered by a qualified HUBZone small business concern shall be deemed as being lower than the price offered by another offer, other than another small business concern. If the price offered by the qualified HUBZone small business concern is not more than 10% higher than the price offered by the otherwise lowest. So when you're competing with a large business, if they submit an offer of I have a really good example here, but I don't want to break the presentation. If your number doesn't go above the 10% difference from that number, and they are a large business and you are a small business, you're by being a HUBZone, you're going to get preference and you're going to be awarded that contract. If you're competing with another small business and they are 10%, yes, another small business, and they are in a difference of 10% lower, they are gonna get the money because the contract, because they are a small business. Okay, so that PEP is only going to be used when competing with large business. If you have a business and let's say you want to give out a subcontracting opportunity and you want to search for HUBZone contractor, you can go into the dynamic small business search tool where it says states. You're going to go down and you're going to locate the USVI tab. You're going to select it, and you can keep going down and using the filters as you wish. You can select only HUBZone firms. You can select by specific NICS codes. If you have a specific firm in mind, if you have their DUNS number or their firm name, you can put it down below. There are a ton of filters that you can put and play with. And when you press search, you're going to get the information that the firm uploaded into their sam.gov account. So you're going to have your name, the firm name, the owner. You're gonna have a narrative, capability statements narrative. You can look for address, email, telephone. As long as the person inputted that information to their sam.gov profile, you're gonna see that information right there. Okay. So the beta.sam.gov account, this is the place where every opportunity that exceeds $25,000 has to be by law posted in this web page. So again, this page has a ton of filters that you can use to search for opportunities that are coming out from federal agencies. So once you create your account and you start looking for opportunities, you're gonna have once you filter your USVI in state, you can look for your NICS codes. You can look for filter by agency, by supplier service, and it requires you to do a little bit of practice, do your homework. But once you use it a couple of times, it's really easy to use, to navigate. Okay, so obviously the best advice that I can give you if you're thinking about considering entering the federal contracting, US federal contracting arena, is start reading, start doing your trainings, sign up for the SBA's seminars that we offer. We are basically offering as of today 100% of the seminars are being offered online virtually because of the pandemic, but they are extremely helpful, and you can find trainings on contract types, how to read a solicitation from an agency, how to prepare, how to respond, how to prepare your bid, your proposal package, the SBA programs and certifications. We have a ton of training. So look into that, participate, start learning, and it's going to be of a great aid for you in the future. So here you have some tools that you can use. The HUBZone, that HUBZone website, everything that we talked about is right there. All the information, you're going to be able to see it right there. Your HUBZone Maps tool, supporting documentation, that's going to be your frequently asked questions. Okay, you have your CFR. If you want to really go in depth into reading about the HUBZone certification, you can go into the CFR part 1 to 6. Absolutely everything is there. Okay, so go into these links, go into these tools that I gave you guys, and use them. As I mentioned to you, if you have any question about today's presentation or anything, government contracting, small business related, feel 100% free to shoot me an email. You also have the email from Mr. Mariano Torres. He's the other BOS for the Puerto Rico USVI district office. You also have the information for Mr. Wayne Huddlestone. He's the senior area manager for the USVI, and Lisa, who is the outreach and marketing specialist also for USVI in Puerto Rico. You have our information. You obviously have the information for the SBDC. They can help you and assist you in preparing your application package and giving you information, orientation, and absolutely everything that we have talked about here today. So that being said, I think I'm gonna roll over to Wayne or Lisa. I don't know if you guys have any questions. Feel free.
I think, thank you, Eduardo. I think we've had a number of questions going on in chat, and Lisa's been on top of answering those, and you can review those just to confirm that everything's correct, but I think she's been answering them correctly. So if anyone else has questions, please feel free to put it in chat. And I think, I can't recall on some of these webinars, audience members have the ability to unmute themselves. So I think you do have the ability to unmute yourself, and you can ask a question that way as well.
Eduardo, there are two questions that I just wanted you to answer. One is, are sole proprietor businesses candidates for HUBZone certification?
Yes, 100%. As long as they are, as long as they meet all the requirements, all the qualifications, and they don't have, when we say 51% own and control, is businesses that have two individuals as let's say partners. So one of them, the one that's applying, one of them at least has to be, the one that's applying has to be 51% or more. So if that person, that sole proprietor, is 100% owner, if they meet all of the other requirements, they're good to go.
Okay, and the other question is, how does, in the certification, how do you classify number of employees of a company if workers are called in as needed? So I'm guessing contract or temporary rather than permanent workers.
Right. So I think that number, the last that I read was the amount of employees that you have at the time of application, because you're gonna have that number go up and down. So the important thing here is that, let's say that you're based on your NICS code. Let's say that you have a maximum amount of 200 employees. So when you apply, let's say that you have 150. So you're below the maximum amount, so you qualify. So you are supposed to maintain and keep that 200, that 199 or below number throughout the duration of the certification, right? So this is not something that can be we cannot monitor 100% of the firms 100% of the time. But it is important for you to remember that once you're certified as a HUBZone firm, you may, SBA reserves the right to perform on-site visits and request documentation just to see that the firm is meeting the requirements. It's not something, you know, I don't want to say it's not done, because there's a lot of firms. It's not, you know, we have hundreds of firms in Puerto Rico, so it's we cannot perform. We do not have the manpower to perform hundreds of HUBZone visits throughout the year. But it is important for you to keep, you know, to be honest and have that number below the required amount, because if you do get a visit and you do not comply, you know, you may get your certification revoked.
Those were all the questions on chat. If anyone else has questions, we do invite you to come off of mute and ask your questions. And while we have a pause, I'll just let you know that Mary Jo has put a PDF of the presentation in the chat. And so you can download that and kind of, you know, see the links and get, do your research at that point.
Okay, so this is Mary Jo from the SBDC. I want you guys to know the topic for next week's webinar Tuesday with SBA is going to be the 8A Business Development Program. And Mr. Eduardo Velez will be presenting on that also. Is that correct, Eduardo?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that's going to be some good information. And then on Wednesday next week, we have Starting Your Business in the Virgin Islands. And that will be at 2 p.m. And then on Thursday next week at 3 p.m., we'll be doing the business processes, improving your cash flow in collaboration with the UVI School of Business. And that will be at 3 p.m. So please register for all of these upcoming webinars so we can see your face in the place. And we had a little bit of technical challenge at the beginning. So let me share with you guys some information about the SBDC so you can see how we can help your business.
Has your business been affected by COVID-19? The Virgin Islands Small Business Development Center is available to assist entrepreneurs and small businesses in the U.S. Virgin Islands. The VI SBDC is sustained by the University of the Virgin Islands and the U.S. Small Business Administration and collaborates with local agencies to support the small business community. The VI SBDC is nationally accredited and provides free consulting, business education training, and technical assistance. Attend workshops with subject matter experts from both the public and private sector. From idea generation to exit strategies, the staff at the VI SBDC is ready to assist you. Now is the time to contact them, so don't wait. Call or email them to find out how they can help your business grow and succeed.
¿Su negocio ha sido afectado por COVID-19? El Centro de Desarrollo de Pequeñas Empresas está disponible para ayudar a los empresarios en las Islas Vírgenes de los Estados Unidos. El VISBDC es sostenido por la Universidad de las Islas Vírgenes y la Administración de Pequeñas Empresas de los Estados Unidos para apoyar a la comunidad de negocios pequeños. El VISBDC está acreditado a nivel nacional y ofrece consultoría gratuita, educación empresarial y asistencia técnica. Asiste a talleres con expertos en la materia, tanto del sector público como del privado. Desde generaciones de ideas hasta estrategia de salida, el personal del VI SBDC está listo para ayudarlo. Ahora es el momento de contactarlos si necesita ayuda. Llame o envíe un correo electrónico para averiguar cómo puede ayudar a que su negocio crezca y tenga éxito.
And there's one other announcement that I forgot to make, is that on Thursday, we have the Lunch and Learn in collaboration with the Disability Rights Center of the Virgin Islands. And we're going to be talking about disclosure of disability during the pandemic. So for employers that are looking to hire people, these are some important topics that you should consider as you go through the interview process. And as employees, you should also know about this information. So that's going to be Thursday at 12 noon. Now, do we have any more questions in the chat? Okay, well, we don't seem to have any more questions. So on behalf of the State Director at the Virgin Islands SBDC, Mr. Ted Gutierrez, and the staff on St. Croix and St. Thomas, we want to thank you all for joining us today. And we look forward to seeing you on Thursday at the Lunch and Learn. And you can register for our webinars on our Facebook page at VISBDC or on our website at visbdc.org. Thank you again for joining us today, and have a good day.
All right, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Eduardo.
Thank you, Wayne. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Eduardo.
Thank you, guys. Have an excellent rest of the day.
You too. Bye-bye.